Hello there, lovely soul, and welcome to today's podcast. I am so excited you're here with me today, and I can't wait to talk about this. I like to say this is one of my biggest secrets, not that I keep it a secret because I talk about it actually a lot, but I think it's a secret in the industry. I think it is a secret inside of how people look at me probably from the outside, and they just would have no idea that this is part of my story because the 100K lesson I'm talking about today, the $100,000 lesson, is something that we're not really talking about, right? And it's something that I think when we look at people from the outside, we're like, no, they got it right the first time. They knew exactly what they were doing. They've never suffered, right? They've never been through any hardship, really. And it's so easy to just project that onto people. And you just have no idea, right? We don't know how much each other is suffering, which is such a big, I think, thing to normalize right now, especially for so many of you that are coming here and, seeking out these different avenues of self-help and the spiritual side of this work, and just understanding that you're not alone. You're just not alone, right? And it's totally okay that maybe you're doing all the ways that you were taught it was supposed to work and you're maybe feeling burnout or really unfulfilled, which was a big surprise, right? That was kind of what happened to me. So my story is that like I got to 100K in my business the first 10 months of my business, right? It was my number one goal. And I really think that having a 100K business is very romanticized in our industry, right? The coaching industry, the healing industry, the entrepreneurial world. It's especially in my circles where I learned from, where I went to school, it was the goal, the number one goal. And it was it wasn't really said, but it was the energy of once you get there, you'll know you've made it. You'll be happy. You will now know that you have an actual business, a business that will make you income. It will grow. And all of these ideas that were just really unquestioned by me. And I literally got there in the first 10 months of my business. It was my number one goal. I was like, I'm going to do this because when I do the things, I go all in and I usually do it really fast. If you guys don't know yet, I am a 3-5 manifesting generator with a splenic authority, not splenic, sorry, sacral authority. And yeah, I move fast. I move really fast. I am here to push the mold. I really want to be an example of what's possible for people. And I really I want to figure it out fast, right? Like my line 3. And I want to be an example of what's possible and break the mold. And my line 5 wants to come out and just really show the world things. And so I was like, I'm doing this, right? So I set my mind to it. And this is before I even knew that about myself, actual what human design says about myself. I just knew I go all in and I do things. I do it, right? And the thing is I had this unhealthy attachment to trying to prove myself, right? In the field, to my colleagues, to my family. I mean, all the things, right? And I also think this is really so many people's goal because they want the same thing. They really want, and I think that's why it is so highly prized. I mean, there's awards given for people that reach 100K in their business, right? And they get recognized for it. They get to walk across stages. They get really pretty, you know, what am I trying to say? Really pretty awards that they can, put in the background of where they coach. It's how you get known in the industry is kind of the energy behind how it's told to you that this is your goal, right? In school or just whatever communities you're in. And we all want that. We all want to feel like we've made it. We all want to be part of the group. We all want to be recognized for what we do. And at the end of the day, it's because we want to help more people. We want to be successful. We want to feel good. What I didn't know is that I was looking for satisfaction in my life. That's what a generator wants. They want satisfaction. And I was really sold on this idea that the satisfaction would come when I got there. But getting there in 10 months was great and all. Like, the idea of it was amazing, but I got there and I was really burnt the F out. I was so burnt out. I was like, I can't believe that I did this, and I'm so freaking frustrated and tired and like resentful. I don't even want to show up and coach. And I was so devastated because I was like, this was everything to me. This was my forever gig. Like, and I know it, and I knew it in my gut. I didn't even know about my gut yet, but I knew it. I just knew it with every fiber of my being. I felt like I was really good at it. I was able to show up and help people in a big way. It just really hit on all the parts of my life that I'd been through, and my teaching abilities, and just all the things that I've learned and used along the way in my life. And to get to this place of quote unquote success, and to feel really burnt out and like there's no way I can show up another day in my business, I'm gonna have to quit. What am I gonna be able to do? Like what do I have to do next? And then I start looking for jobs. And I'm like, what am I doing? Right. And when we go into like this coaching world and we learn the beautiful, beautiful thing that your thoughts create your results, right? Especially from certain coaching schools, right? You really learn you can create any type of result you want. And you really can, right? You really can with that one tool alone. And I absolutely love this thought work tool. I use it all the time. I think it is a beautiful thing to be able to question your thoughts. I really, really believe it is step one into the big growth of the world right now and what we're all wanting, and to separate, you know, from your ego and to be able to see the ego for what it is, and, you know, your unconscious mind, and to be able to find power over your life. But what we kind of unconsciously do within that is we start to give our power away to thinking that we will feel better when we get the result. We will feel better if we just focus on the actions, right? And it takes the right thought to have the right action to create the right result. That's what we all learn, right? And so for me, and for what I see in a lot of my clients, probably 95% of them, it's like, but how do I get there? What are the actions, right? But how, but what do I actually do, right? The number one question is, yeah, but how do I do that? How do I actually do that thing? What do I do next? What does that look like? That's a really sneaky one. What does that look like, Melanie? And I'm like, okay, you're wanting to know what to do, right? And that's because we've been taught to believe that that is what creates the results. But when you're focused on the actions, right, you're just looking for the right actions, the quote unquote right actions, the right things to do. You're not thinking about what you actually want to do, right? Because it's like you can't create whatever result you want with the right actions, quote unquote right actions, right? But at what cost? What does that cost you? For me, it cost me my deep sense of satisfaction that I really wanted. It cost me so much of my energy. It cost me my health. It really did. It cost me a lot of things. I made 100K, but did I really? That's another thing too. How much of that did I actually spend in my business, for one, and investing in other coaches? Probably close to 75% of it, maybe even 80% of it. That's something else that I think is very untalked about in our industry, is like, actually, what did you really make, right? You can say, oh, I brought in 100K in income, but like, what was your actual like take home? What was your income, right? If you had been working for a company, what would your paycheck have been? I think that's a lot more realistic way to talk about things, right? And there's so many different ways you can do this. And there's so many different ways that you can create a profit margin that works for you. And, you know, also what I was taught was like, you put every single penny back in the business first year. You can claim you made 100K, but do you really make any money? That's another way I think we create burnout for ourselves, is we get to say that we have this amazing accomplishment, and yet we don't get to reap any benefit from it sometimes, We're not being fully honest with ourselves and with the world. And it's because we're looking for that validation and that really deep sense of satisfaction that we want. For some people, it's a feeling of success, right? It really kind of depends on your type and your life experience and what your wounds are specifically, right? It's usually what you're kind of attached to and looking for. Could be a sense of validation through certain things. Some people want peace above all else, right? And then you'll feel good. That's kind of the thing, right? But we attach to these actions that we actually don't want to be doing. And it might create the result you want, I quote unquote want. But day to day, if you're doing things you hate doing, doesn't matter what result you get. You're not going to like your life. You're not going to like your job. You're not going to like what you do. You're going to dread waking up every day. And that is going to wear on your energy. It's going to wear on the people around you. And ultimately, when that result comes, that sense of whatever it is you want to feel or have in your life will be so empty. Because guess what? Tomorrow you got to wake up and do everything all over again to create even more of that money, to create even more of whatever, the clients, the audience, whatever it is you're attached to creating in that one way that you actually don't like. And the thing is, we're buying into everybody else's like blueprint of what worked for them because it's very sexy to our minds. It's very sexy to our ego, right? Whatever part of us really just wants that result to get that feeling. It's so sexy to just have the blueprint of like, just give me the steps. Just give me the list. I'll do it and I'll get there. And that's what I did. I got there really fast. But was it worth it? It really wasn't. When I got there, I was like, well, holy shit, what do I do? Right? Like, do I continue to hate what I'm doing? Because this is not why I got into this business. I got into this business for freedom, right? Like, what most people aren't doing is connecting with their actual values. What do you value in life? Do you value making 100K just for the sake of it? Is that all you really want in your life? It doesn't matter how you get there, you just want to get there. And if that's your case, that's perfect. That's beautiful. That's totally okay. And that's your way. But if you're here, it's probably not the full story for you. You're opening up to this idea that it does matter how you get there. It actually does matter what you do every day, because you can see too how staying in this pattern of what you're doing every day, whether it's too much or too little, or you just know it just doesn't feel right and it's just not sustainable for you. And the thought of scaling this type of action to make more income or create more clients or have a business that has a broader reach and can help even more people and heal more people in the world, it's like so daunting to you because you're like, I can't do more of that. I'm already dying as it is. Right? So like, is it even worth it? Most people will tell you it's not. For me, I was like, no, this is the biggest lesson of my life. And thank goodness I was able to do this and then start this beautiful work of leaning into actually just decide every day, like, what do I want to do today? How can I do the actions day to day just intuitively? Whatever feels good. And just start to trust that what feels good to do to me will be what's right to do in my business. And human design is so good at helping you do that. And for me, like my human design came in like right at the perfect time, kind of right. I don't know. I wouldn't say right at the tail end of that. It was more like half a year, I think, maybe 8 months after that kind of big burnout session I had. And then I totally scrapped how I was doing things and tried to change it all up, to a lot of resistance, by the way, in my coaching world, but through my mentors at the time and my coaches. So many people telling me you can't do it that way. That's not going to work. You can't change anything right now. Why are you doing that? Like, but that doesn't make any sense, Melanie. So many of those things, right? And I was getting more frustrated and more frustrated. But then in like just scurried in my human design, and it was the most beautiful timing and perfect thing. And it really helped me connect with my inner knowing, right? And my knowing how my energy is supposed to work and how I'm actually supposed to create space to be supported and to let the universe come to me. Like, who knew that the universe could send you what you need? Like, who knows that? Nobody nobody teaches you that growing up, right? Nobody. Nobody says, "Oh, hey, by the way, like you can just trust that the universe is going to send you exactly what you need. You can just trust that like money will always take care of you. Like you can just trust that your energy is always enough and you are brilliant and your light is the only thing you need to worry about shining and abundance will just flow towards you." If you had that upbringing, like that's amazing, but I bet you didn't. Can you imagine though if you had? If that's what you believed? And me saying all that probably makes you wanna slap me in the face, and I get it. I so get that. It did me too, because I was like, "What do you mean I can trust the universe? That's ridiculous." I was mad at my human design. I was mad at my strategy as a manifesting generator that I was supposed to wait to respond and then inform and go do the thing. Like, what? First of all, I have to tell people what I'm doing. Ew. And, like, second of all, like, I have to wait? What? Like, I was the pushing queen, right? I was the hustle queen. I was the one that was gonna go get it, and I did that. But I also had this crazy not crazy, but I had this, like, recurring theme in my life of, yeah, you go to the top really fast, you, like, get to the goal really fast, and then you burn out and quit and do something different, right? Which part of it's my manifesting generator nature. I do lots of things, I'm multi-passionate, I'm not here to do one thing. I've had a lot of, like, love and compassion built up for that in the past year, which has helped me a lot, but also too, like, part of it was because or at least the painful part of all that was because I was so attached to the outcome, and every time I got to that outcome, it felt awful. It didn't feel good, right? I'd be halfway there being like, "Why am I doing this? I don't like this." But I gotta keep going. I gotta hustle. I gotta push. It's like I was addicted to the pushing. I was addicted to the proving, right? Pushing and proving are so linked. Hustle and proving. And proving it is an energy, right? Proving is like, I've got to prove that I'm successful. I've got to prove that I can do this. I've got to prove that I can make money, right? I've got to prove that I can't like I'm finally something. I'm finally doing something with my life to my parents, right? I've got to prove that I'm a good coach, whatever it is. Got to prove I'm a good person. I'm a good mom. I'm a good wife, right? Whatever it is for you. What are you attached to? And this is really what the world teaches you. And I think there's a huge shift right now happening in the self help healer coaching industry into what I call step two, which is from here to here, right? From the head to the body. We are waking up to this beautiful wisdom inside of our bodies. We are starting to like our intuitive body is calling out to us more than ever, telling us, I have the answer for you. I have the answer for you. Right. And like it's usually saying it in a really uncomfortable way, especially if you've been ignoring it for a really long time. You're either like so burnt out, you can't move anymore, you're full of pain, you have chronic illness, um, or you're just like just starting to realize that when you listen to your body, it feels better. You're starting to realize that like there's a way to do this that feels good every day. Like I'm so afraid. Like one of my clients recently said her biggest fear, like just blurted out to her husband was, I'm so afraid I'm not going to enjoy my life. Like that is literally the fear of a generator, y'all. And probably a lot of people, but yeah. Like, can you imagine your whole life going by and being like, oh my God, I hated every second of that. I got all the things on the outside, but like, I didn't get to enjoy any of it. Right. And it's so attached to like thinking that I'll enjoy it one day, right? I'll get to wake up and finally enjoy my life. But I think too, like COVID came and it really gave us this beautiful, forced, I mean, beautiful might not be the right word, but it did force us all to like slow down a lot. which was extremely painful in a lot of ways for a lot of reasons. But it was also a beautiful gift in that you were able to really see, am I enjoying my life? What do I want to get rid of? It gave you space to respond, honestly, for a lot of people. It gave you space to start listening to your body, right? Even if you were just trying to figure out, like, what was that cough about? You were actually listening to your body for the first time. Probably, I say first time. Definitely not the first time, but first time in a long time for a lot of people. So you can definitely get anywhere you want with your thoughts. But most of the time, it will feel very hollow and it will burn you out. And it will be more frustrating at the end of the day. It will be more like, it'll feel more bitter. It'll feel more disappointing and angering, really, when you get there. And the promise that you thought would be inside of it, that feeling, that ability to relax, that ability to be free, whatever it is you were looking for isn't there. And it's just such a letdown, right? How do you want to lean into learning from your body more? And start to really question the thoughts of, like, you have to do it this way. Like, what if you don't? That's where thought work can come in and be very helpful. Like, what stories are you believing? And human design is a beautiful way to show your mind why you have certain stories, why you're attached to certain things, and how to just start to love on those parts of you. The best thing about human design and the containers that I offer to my clients is just the fact that you have all this beautiful space to become your own sacred guide and to really lean into the fact that there's nothing to change about you. There's actually no thought you even need to change. There's no feeling you need to get out of. There's no, like, wrong energy. There's no wrong thoughts. There's just nothing like that. It's the opposite. You're perfect where you are. You're perfect how you are. You were made this way on purpose, and whatever conditioning you have that's being expressed right now is totally fine. It's actually literally the portal into your gifts. The reason why that's showing up is because that's the frequency that you need to just pay attention to and love on to literally uncover your gift, to serve more people better in a way that is loving and feels good. It's a partnering with your ego. It's a partnering your soul and ego together. And I call it this synergy of ego and soul. And it's what I've heard some mentors call pure ego versus the ego. We're human. We need our egos. We have to have them. We have to have them to do what our soul came here to do on this plane. But are you letting it, like, run the show with judgment and run the show with fear? How can you just love on it where it is and walk right through the door to your gift? It's a really cool way. I call it uncoaching. I've literally rebranded myself as the uncoach. And I don't care what anybody says, but I really am. Like, I don't really identify as a coach anymore, even though that's kind of the containers that I hold. It's more like I want to help you become your own sacred guide into whatever it is you know intuitively you need next, and help you create your own safety around it and hold this energetic space of awareness to help you see yourself more clearly and help you understand your human design and understand yourself in a way that feels good, amazing, empowering, and can get you to the place you want as quickly as possible and as painlessly as possible. And in a way that feels so good to your energy. Oh, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and what she said, it was so amazing. It was like, it's easy to stay in the ego and just keep doing the things, but it doesn't feel good, right? What alignment does is it creates so much ease for your life, but it's calling you into things that feel scary to the ego. right? So it's like, it's not that it feels super easy, but it's calling you into fear. It's calling you into expansion and growth and like just having your feelings in your body and doing those things with your body so much more that we've been taught, like, ignore your body. Ignore your body. Your body's bad. Your body has these awful things in them that are going to kill you. But it's just not true. And so many coaches burn out and it just isn't talked about, right? And I really want to help change that in the world because these coaches are needed. Like, coaches are needed, healers are needed. These people in the world with these beautiful, brilliant ideas and energy need to be expressed. And like, I can't stand it if another coach burns out and stops sharing their brilliance with the world, all because of this. Right. So if this has been helpful for you to kind of see this in this light and understand that, like, it's not your fault that you keep burning out and it can be changed, like, tell a friend, tell somebody else that you know. You've probably had some conversations with people where you've been feeling the same way. Share this episode with them, share human design with them, get them to know that they can work with their energy. They can stop fighting with themselves and save so much of their energy too, and just feel so much better. Because the truth is that in that day, I like woke up, after those 10 months and I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I burnt down my business in that moment, knowing that, like, I want to commit to building this business back up to 100K and more, but doing it in a way that feels amazing. So that way I never burn out. Like, every day I want to choose to do whatever it is I want to do that feels amazing, good, and fun to me. And I get to do that now. And that is scalable, right? You can double your income and do less than you're doing now. You can triple, quadruple. You can scale anything and probably do way less than you're doing now. And even if you're not doing less, you can actually be doing things that are really, really fun, that feel really fun and amazing and good. And you can rest more. And you can, when I say do less, I do actually mean like doing actually less, like less hours of work. You could probably cut your hours in half, honestly. But I also mean just doing less of what you don't like to do. So much less energy spent thinking about things that really don't matter to you, thinking about like managing certain things, thinking about how you hate doing this one thing. And oh my gosh, and like procrastinating, right? And all that energy spent there. And like so much energy spent like, oh my God, I'm so depressed today. Like, I've got to go fix that. I've got to go do this work before I can like show up for my clients today. And just like all that worry and like trying to fix yourself all the time. Oh my God. Like, so much more fun to be had, first of all. And it really is the way to help the world. It is your way to help the world. And you know it, and you're leaning in. And I'm so glad. And so if you've gotten to this point in your business and you really are feeling that call to kind of burn it down and start over in a way that feels amazing, and you want support in that so it doesn't feel way too scary, I would love to work with you. I'd love to just chat with you. And you can click the links in any of my areas and schedule a free consult with me, free connection call. I'd love to connect with you and just chat, and we can see if you're a good fit for my one-on-one 3-month guided human design deep dive. Or there's lots of other ways you can, get a hold of maybe a new masterclass of mine or something like that. So go to my link, see what's available, and I would love to chat with you. You can always send me a message on Instagram or email. I really would love to hear from you. Like, honestly, if you have any questions, if you just want to say, hey, this really helped me, if you want to leave me a review and tell me how this helped you, that would be amazing too, because the more I get to know what you need and what you like, the better I can help you guys. So I love you all. That was my 100K lesson. And yeah, hopefully you don't have to learn it like that, and you can start wherever you are today and build something that feels amazing every single day. So You will always enjoy your life, and it will give you exactly what you need. And you can make millions of dollars if you want to, doing it that way, like literally. And honestly, it's a lot faster and you won't like kill yourself. It's a win, win, win. Okay. All right, guys, I love you. I will talk to you soon. Bye.